Now, when you think of pickup trucks, you don't think of a pickup truck highly modified like this one. No, you conjure up a pickup truck coming down a dirt road at your local farm. But we have a different application for pickup trucks and tractors. No, not this like you see in your typical farm field, but tractors that are specially prepared for pulling. Stay tuned for ATPA action next. Welcome one and all to the city of Henry, Illinois. She sits just off the banks of the mighty Illinois River. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the Marshall-Putnam County Fair. And a part of that fair has got to be traditionally the ATPA Jasper Engines and Transmissions Pulling Series. It's a Grand American event. This is week number 3 here in Speed Vision as we continue to cover the series. 3 different classes we'll be covering this week, and with more on that, our expert analyst, Tom McConnell.
I'm here at the pits at the Marshall-Putnam County Fair in Henry, Illinois, for what is going to be the highest-paying single-day event in ATPA history. Over $30,000 will be giving out to the pullers today in Henry, Illinois. And we've got a lot of classes and a lot of pullers, if you could see those guys behind me. Classes to run include the Pro Stock tractors. The Internationals are gaining some ground on the John Deeres. We're going to see who's going to take home the big bucks just a little bit later on. And then the four-wheel drive trucks, expecting one of the largest crowd ever in the four-wheel drive class. And we've also got a new class, the Super Farms. With more on that, here's Ken Stout.
For the first time on Speed Vision, we're featuring a new class. And in fact, the first time for the ATPA here on Speed Vision. It's called the 9,200-pound Super Farm Tractors, and these things are very unique. Behind me, you see Ray Heron standing with his beautiful Red International. Of course, there will be some John Deeres in the category as well. Now, there's also a very unique tractor in this class. It's called the Minneapolis Moline. Let me tell you a little bit about the category and some of the limitations. They're allowed up to 640 cubic inches and also a single turbo. Now, I know that sounds an awful lot like a Pro Stock tractor, but they do have a turbocharger limitation. 3 inches in, 3 inches out is the size of the tubing, and a small pump. So they can't run a whole bunch of fuel and a whole bunch of air inside of this thing to make the big horsepower. Now, this one also very unique. It runs on propane, the only tractor in the country, in fact, doing so. Big propane tank on there, and of course, you can see the lettering on the side of it. The official name and the owner, Mark Kohlberg, is, well, he says that it's really living up to its name. It's a real propane right now. They're having some problems, but they did make it into the pull-off. We'll see if, in fact, they can get this thing fixed up and win here tonight. Let's cut right to the action as we go to the pull-off in the category of Super Farm Tractors.
And in that pull-off was the propane of Mark Kohlberg.
Kohlberg will set the mark to beat. Now, in this particular round, we had run earlier this afternoon, took the top 5 tractors to come back for the pull-off. It is a floating finish line, Ted. They pull it as far as they can, and Kohlberg will set the mark to beat, 299.10.
Now, for those of you new to watching tractor pulling, a full pull is 300 feet. Ken Stout is there.
Nice job. 299.1. I mean, doesn't get much closer than that. And a pull-off, that's an excellent run.
Yeah, I was more than satisfied with it. That's all it had.
You got to be happy you got this thing fixed. I mean, it was locked up a couple hours ago.
Yeah, we just got it unlocked. The clutch disc welded fast to the flywheel earlier this afternoon, but we got it pried loose with some screwdrivers.
Certainly one of the strongest tractors in the category. Is that going to be a good enough pull to hang on for the win?
I don't know. A lot of tough ones. It's hard telling what might happen. That's all I had.
We'll take a break. When we come back, more of the Super Farm pull-off. Stay with us, please. Back once again at the Marshall-Putnam County Fair. We're in the middle of the pull-off for the farm category, a brand new one here to the ATPA. This is the bodacious of Jim Brisky.
Jim Brisky is the current leader the Badger State pullers in points. A very tough John Deere. You can tell they just don't quite have the power like the Pro Stocks we'll see later, but boy, they put on a good show, and he will take over the lead. The John Deere fans have got to be happy at that. Let's check it out with the Lucas Oil replay.
You can see wheels high in the air there as he came off the starting line. Then they began to settle down just a little bit. As you said, they really don't have that power, especially down at the finish line. They're not pulling as much weight.
308.3, you're the new leader.
Thank you. It was a good run. I hope it holds out, but there are a lot of good tractors left to come.
Boy, very tough category. I tell you, I thought the Minneapolis Moline had a good pull. You were way past him in a game of inches. I mean, you just annihilated him.
Well, every once in a while, I guess you get lucky.
Here comes the Thunder Clutch, ladies and gentlemen. This is Greg Elsing.
Greg Elsing, the president of the Badger State Pullers up in Wisconsin. One of the toughest internationals in this category. Running out of power. Look at that tractor. I mean, it's literally doing what it's supposed to do, just pulling its guts out. He will come up short, Ted.
So the lead still belongs to Jim Brisky as we get a good look there in the driver's seat at Bob Gray with the Poltergeist. It's also a John Deere tractor.
Another very tough John Deere from the Badger State Pullers. Running up. I love this class. It's so nostalgic. It's like going back and pulling to see the Pro Stock tractors the way they were 15 years ago. It's a great class to start in, and it's one of the most popular categories in America right now.
Oh, serious challenge, 301.11 feet. Remember, the lead is 308.30. Good try. Here comes another international, Ray Huron with the Red Express. He's out of Illinois.
This is the last tractor in this class. This is the pull-off that we're showing you here. Two John Deere's, 1 and 2. Can the Red Express get in there? You see Jim Brisky. You know Brisky's done it. John Deere's will finish 1 and 2.
Congratulations, winning the first time we've ever had the category of the farm tractors on for Speed Vision and, of course, with the ATPA, and you win the first national event. Congratulations.
Thank you. It feels really good. I'd like to thank all the sponsors that put this on, ATPA and everyone else.
Congratulations, man. Excellent job.
Thank you.
All right, let's take a look at the way they finished. Jim Brisky and Bob Gray both pulling past that 300-foot mark. We'll take a break. When we come back to Henry, Illinois, the Pro Stock tractors are ready. A big crowd is on hand at the Marshall Putnam County Fair. Let's go to Ken Stout right now, who has an interesting comparison.
This is your basic, brand new MX-180, a Case International, and of course you can see the cockpit is beautiful. All enclosed in glass, equipped with air conditioning and AM/FM stereo. Now this is a brand new unit. In fact, so new that as far as the internationals are concerned, they're not allowed to use this motor. This is a 500 cubic inch power plant utilizing a double overhead cam 4-valve head. Now, these guys that we're about to show you running in the Pro Stock category actually are not allowed to use that brand new power plant. They'll go back to a 466 base power plant utilizing one turbocharger, but the cubic inches go up. In Pro Stock, you're allowed 680 cubic inches. And these guys, of course, are mandated by the rules to utilize a roll cage. A very nice tractor, very strong tractor, and extremely expensive. And then the wild bunch of the group would be the unlimited super stock tractors. Once again, you'll see the roll cage. These guys have to have them because if not, it'll literally sling them out. They are allowed multiple turbochargers, up to 640 cubic inches. These things are putting out anywhere between 3,000 and 5,000 horsepower versus a Pro Stock at 2,000 horsepower and the brand new typical farm tractor at about 200 horsepower. Of course, if you look at the sheet metal on the outside, a quick glance, you'll see that they all almost look identical. So we thought we'd give you a little inside information.
All right, most interesting, Ken Stout, as we take a look right there at Steve Boyd in the green streak. The other thing that they do with all of these Pro Stock tractors, all of the tractors, is they put names on them.
They do it in the pros, they do it in the unlimited. Every category, they got to name their little babies in. This little baby's going to come up short, but he will set the mark to beat 264.10.
Well, let me go out on a limb here and predict that someone will beat that mark. Let's take a look at what happened and see this time not why he had a good pull. Why did he have a poor pull, Tom?
The track was pulling him over to the right. He had to get on the brake. When you get on the brake, you lose your momentum.
264.10, I don't think that's the number you were looking for.
No, I don't think that'll hold. You know, I just didn't want to run again and again, so I figured just take it. I think the sled's weighted pretty heavy, but we'll see what happens.
So you feel comfortable with it? You're going to keep the run?
Huh? Yeah, I think they just take what we get. Yeah.
Well, we'll find out if it's good enough. Certainly Green Streak, one of the best in the country, the defending champion from 1999. Maybe that is the mark to beat.
Whoa, I don't know about that, Ken Stout. We'll find out. Here comes another John Deere. Steve Wishmeyer, barely getting by now. How much weight are they pulling right now?
I would estimate they are pulling in the neighborhood of about 60,000 pounds. The tractors themselves weigh 10,000 pounds, so they're pulling up 5 times their weight, 6 times their weight. I mean, it's a lot out there.
Wishmeyer does beat it by only 4 feet. You see the numbers right there on your screen. So he becomes our new leader. Pulling into place now is Chris Little. But let's go back down to Ken Stout.
I guess the question will be to you is, do you think 268 is going to be enough to hold on?
I just doubt that. There's a lot of good equipment out there yet, that's for sure.
You know, Steve Boyd might be right. This sled is pretty heavy right here. Let's see what Chris Little can do with it with the tantrum.
Very popular since he's here in his home state of Illinois. Knows this type of soil, but I don't think he's going to figure it out either. He will come up short, 253.90.
Oh, yeah, the lightest pull we've had thus far. So we'll go back up to the starting line. Hooking up now is a red tractor. This is Nick McCormick, the nasty stuff. Wonder if he's related to the famous McCormicks that built the farm machinery.
Well, I'm not sure about that. I think he would have a whole herd of tractors if he was. Nasty stuff making a good run, but I think he just ran out of power. The turbocharger stopped spinning, and you saw it choke, and that was the end of that.
248 feet. So Don Masterson, who, ladies and gentlemen, with the Tinker Toy, is a real master at this particular category.
Don currently running in the top of the point, and he has got a very good run. Look at that front end just dancing in the wind. I love it.
Don Masterson sets the new number to beat at 274.84 feet. Ah, the crowd loves it.
Boy, Don, when you get her hooked up and you're having a good night, you're just having a good night.
Well, we feel awful lucky to be pulling against the caliber tractors that are out there. There's some real good pro stocks and a lot of nice guys, and I'd like to thank all the sponsors, Jacobs, Jasper, Lucas, and it's just great to be here and having fun.
We'll take a break. When we come back, the crowd's ready, and so will you. More Pro Stocks. A good look there at downtown Henry, Illinois. And as you can see, not a lot of people downtown today. Nope, they're all out at the Marshall-Putnam County Fair watching the Jasper Engines and Transmission Pulling Series. We're in the middle of the Pro Stock category. Here comes Wayne Hook. He's going to hook his tractor.
Oh, and he knows this track well. Won this event here before. One of the top pullers from the Badger State Pullers in the Pro Stock category, but the green will still stay on top. 263 and change for Dwayne Hook.
That will not take the lead. Speaking of green, here comes another John Deere. Ladies and gentlemen, meet Robbie Olimsky and his new Generation Plus.
Beautiful John Deere running the classic older style sheet metal. Making a good run, but running out of power there at the end. Will not take over the lead. Don Masterson looking good at this point.
Don Masterson at 274.84 feet. A reminder, a full pull is 300 feet. Good look at the crowd there as they're really enjoying this. Ladies and gentlemen, rural America turns out strong to support the ATPA and this pulling series. Here comes Trent Boyd, the Bitin' Binder.
The Bitin' Binder making in the neighborhood of 2,000 horsepower from a motor that originally only made under 200 horsepower. Awesome machine. He's got to be 274, and he does it. We've got a new leader, Ted.
By about 4 feet, 278.54 feet. Let's take a look at that and see how he did it. A little slow, actually, off the starting line. He didn't really get in it hard. Kept the front wheels pretty well glued to the ground till he got about a third of the way down course. Then suddenly he gave it full power. Look at that diesel smoke pour out of there.
Well, the old corn binder got some bite there that time. 278.54. They'll all be chasing a red one.
Yeah, I tell you, I'm real happy to get a red one out in the front. This class needs a variety of winners, and the green one's been tough to beat, but the Snedeker Farms have built me an engine that It's going to be competitive. We're going to make the green ones earn it this year.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to tractor pulling, when they talk about the green ones and the red ones, they're talking about the different brand of tractors. Just like Chevrolet and Ford, here's one of the green ones. It's a John Deere. This is Craig Williman with the Die Hard Deere.
The Die Hard Deere going all over the track, any which way but straight. Going to cost him distance. Remember, when they're up in the air, they control it by the brakes. It really put him on a wild ride tonight.
Well, he's not able to surpass that 278-foot mark. Another John Deere coming up right now. Troy Bader in the No Fear Deere.
Another one of those tough John Deeres from the Badger State Pullers. Run a lot of Grand American events this year, has yet to win. Will tonight be his night? Look at that helmet. Look at that determination. Just tearing into the track, but no way. 2,000 horsepower and still can't get past.
Well, he veered off to one side there, Tom, which meant he had to hit that one brake, slow that momentum down. Let's see if the Nightlife can have any better luck. Remember, the number to beat, 278.54.
He too will come up short, 270.68.
And with that, we'll take a break as the sun sets over Henry, Illinois. We'll be back with more tractors. Stay with us, please. They pull everything in the ATPA. This is called a pedal pull. As you can see, that young man getting started at a young age. See the weights back there on the little sled? They pull lawn and garden tractors. Maybe we'll have some of that someday here on Speed Vision. Right now, though, we're in the middle of the Pro Stock tractors, and this is Gary Brinkmeyer with the Fuelish Pleasure.
Gary Brinkmeyer is practically worshipped in this town. The crowd loves this guy. He's the hometown favorite.
And Gary kind of sets around.
And he will come up short, 260.86. Speaking of hometown favorites, we get to see Sonny Snyder pull in a moment. Right now, let's go down to Ken Stout.
Gary, not sure what you were looking for here tonight. Had a great run last week. Here tonight, just a little bit off.
Yeah, track's a little tough out there. We didn't have the weight quite where it ought to have been, but tractor ran good. We can't complain.
No, indeed, I guess he really can't. So Sonny Snyder, the other hometown favorite, with the Thumper.
Sonny lives about 15 miles from this fairground. Has a lot of fans here cheering for him as well. The Thumper it'll get thumped tonight. It's going to come up short, 240.90.
Now here comes a very interesting setup. Kevin Masterson is the son of Don Masterson, who you saw pull a while ago and have the lead temporarily. Well, they're a father and son team, and they have a very interesting story.
Our farming background goes back to about 1939. Family started in this area, and my grandpa and then my father, and of course then myself, and now my son Kevin. Our acreage now on corn is 1,200 acres this year and 1,800 acres of soybeans. We have a grain elevator we had purchased in 1974 at Grandview that's in operation, that we store most of our grain, plus the grain storage we have right here at the home place.
As far as the farming goes, when springtime rolls around, I try to hustle up as much as I can and get the farming done so we can get ready to go tractor pulling. And both of them complement each other pretty well. And we can go ahead and take time and get away and go tractor pulling when we want to. But as far as saying I like one better than the other, I like them both about the same. You know, it's kind of my way of life, I guess.
I sure didn't think we could grow like we have. It's really been extraordinary for us, extraordinary feeling, to be this far along in the farming. Never thought we'd be at this size. The River Rat we had purchased in 1974 to farm with, and we went to tractor pulls with it at the county fairs, and we began to strip it down to get it in lighter weight, and so in the late 70s, it got harder to put back to the farm work, so we just left it as a tractor to pull with. And in 1980, it went into the Pro Stock class and has been here with us ever since. It's kind of sentimental.
The name Tinker Toy came from Dad just sitting there tinkering with his tractor. And when we bought this tractor, it wasn't the kind of tractor you wanted to have for tractor pulling. And we purchased the tractor in 1985, and it wasn't the thing to have. And anyway, Dad, he kind of tinkered with it, and that's just kind of what it evolved from. He just kept tinkering, and every once in a while he'd slip in there and beat you, and, you know, it just kept coming around, and now it's probably the thing to have.
By working on the pulling and tractors and so forth, we learned a lot better how to maintain our farming equipment, you know. We've just done a lot better at keeping everything in operation both ways.
Don and Kevin's accomplishments are many, including winning the National Farm Machinery Show, and then others too.
For a country boy to pull down into the Astrodome and see how big it is and to pull there, that was really something for me, and I won there, and it was real great.
Don was happy with his Astrodome win, but Kevin won in Louisville, Kentucky.
Probably the accomplishment that I was proudest of was in 1997 when I won the Farm Machinery Show. I won my preliminary, and then I won the finals. And that pretty much put me on cloud nine when I did that. But I'd always dreamed as a little kid. I'd been going there since 1979 when I was in kindergarten, and it was always a dream of mine, and it came true.
So now Kevin will have another dream come true, maybe, here in Henry, Illinois, as he prepares the River Rat and tries to take the lead back away from Trent Boyd.
You got to beat 278.54. Can the River Rat do it? Then we've got us a new leader. John Deere is on top.
Incredible. The sport of inches, 278.84. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what you call close.
I'm just ecstatic with that run. It's a tough track out there. It's taking every ounce of horsepower you can muster. The sled's pulling really, really hard. We're not able to get up and get running, but it's a dang good track.
Hey, we've got more Pro Stocks coming up, including Bobby Sarver. Stay tuned. He's next.
Are you tired of...
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Marshall Putnam County Fair. You're watching our Speed Vision coverage of the Lucas Oil Illinois Classic Apart at the Jasper Engines and Transmissions ATPA Pulling Series. Ted Jones and Tom McConnell, Mike Side with you. Waiting down at the finish line is Ken Stout. We're in the middle of the Pro Stock category. This is Bobby Sarver and the Green Extreme.
This entire class has been so close. Sarver making a good run, but he too having to get on the brakes, almost touched that out of bounds line, keeps it in bounds, and that's where he'll wind up, 254 and change.
Now the number to beat is set by Kevin Masterson, if you just joined us, at 278.84 feet. He is currently the leader.
We've got a good run going here right now by Lance Little. Very good run indeed. He's got to be up there, but still going to come up short, 260.02.
We'll continue on with more of those green machines. John Deere. Here's Mickey Shorter and the Buck Eater.
Mickey Shorter, Rookie of the Year last year, won his first event that he attended last year up in North Branch, Michigan, has yet to win one this year, and he will not win here tonight. 254.24.
As we look at the Green Streak 2, Greg Boyd and the Boyd family, Tom, is the track going away? I mean, everybody's in the 250s all of a sudden.
I'm not sure if the track's going away. It's definitely a driver's track, and the track is tricky. The sled is set a little bit tighter than what we usually like it, so it's really hard to figure out. And Greg Boyd doesn't figure it out, 255 and change. You see number 1 and number 2, Kevin Masterson and Trent Boyd, watching the rest of the field. They're up there at 278. They're only inches apart.
Well, our last puller will be Carl Schuler in the Super Moon. Let's see if he can do it, ladies and gentlemen. The number to beat, 278.84 feet. Beautiful paint on that tractor of Carl Schuler. He'll come up short. Your winner is Kevin Masterson.
Excellent job, Kevin. It hung on. I'll tell you what, man. Tough sled here tonight.
Oh, it was a drag from one end to the other. We couldn't get up and run like we needed to, but it was a really good class. This is a really competitive class, and I'm just real happy to come out on top of this. I'm real happy.
The points leader, and I'll tell you what, the distance between the two of you, first and second, only 0.3 of an inch.
Yeah, I knew we was gonna. Well, I was pretty happy when I drove off the track, but I knew the big rat was coming. He's a tough competitor this year, and it's a great bunch of competitors in this pro stock class. We got a real good class. We're all glad to see each other win, as long as one guy don't win them all, and we can go on to the next one and have another good time. We got a good track here. Got to thank the guys that done the track and got a good facility. Had a good time.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin, between Trent's International, we had Gary's International win last week. Big Red's coming back. They're showing some real muscle.
Yeah, they're coming on real strong, but, we'll keep doing the best we can, and they'll keep doing the best we can, and we'll just keep the competition level up really high.
The points leader doing what he had to do, winning another event.
Yes, with a John Deere. All the green people are thrilled. Here's the way they finished, 1 through 5. You can see how close it was there, all the way down through 10th place. A very competitive pool we had here this afternoon. Now, what did that do to the points?
The points are interesting. Father and son, 1 and 2. Going to be an interesting year.
Trucks coming up next. Stay tuned. Back in Henry, Illinois, you're watching the Lucas Oil Illinois Classic. Hey, we're getting ready for trucks. Let's find out more about it with Ken Stout.
The four-wheel drive class is a lot of fun, and of course, much different than the two-wheel drive class. In two-wheel drive, they're allowed to run the blowers up on top of the motors, and of course, they carry the front end out. Four-wheel drive, no blowers. It's all normally aspirated. In fact, they're all injected, and they can run any number of cubic inches that they want. 6, 7, 8, maybe even 900 cubic inches in some of these vehicles. Now, behind me, Charlie Dutton is in a tough points battle with Child's Play, going against Tom Tomalian and Spellbound. These guys are going to get the weight distributed just right, plant all 4 tires down on the ground, turn those big cubic inches loose, and see if they can drag that sled to the finish line.
All right, Ken, thank you very much. 4x4s. You like any kind of four-wheel drive truck, this is your class, folks. Beginning with Lim 3-Day and the Intimidator.
Lim, one of the toughest trucks from the ATPA's member association, DPM. He will set the mark to beat, having some problems at the end. It just kept on lugging on. Not sure what went wrong.
Well, Charlie Dutton will be up next with the Child's Play. He's out of Vincennes, Indiana.
Listen to Charlie Dutton take the RPMs up ever so slightly. Now he's got it wide open. Can he beat the mark to beat? 277 is what he's got to beat. And yes, he does. A new leader, 287.64.
Let's take a look back at it and see exactly how he did that. You can see him veering off just a little bit on our Lucas Oil replay, but then he gets it straight. All 4 wheels pulling down the track. That's what you need if you're going to win one of these four-wheel drive events. Let's go down to Ken Stout, who's with our new leader.
Not as good as I'd like, but I'll take it. Hope for the best. It probably won't last, but I'll take it anyway.
All right, didn't sound too thrilled with it, but he says it might hold, so let's find out right now as Jerry Swearingen comes up with the Outlaw.
Another one of those tough trucks from the TPM Association. Making a very good run. You can see the name of his vehicle very clearly, Outlaw. That's actually his front weight bracket. And he will come up short, but only by inches. 6 inches behind the lead, Ted.
Look at that. The lead is 287.64. Swearingen Bull, 287 flat. This is tight, folks. Look at the older style truck right here. They pull everything in ATPA competition. Sponsored by Snap-on Tools. Here is Charmaine Clark.
Charmaine is one of the toughest drivers on the Jasper Engines ATPA East Coast Series. She will come up short, though, when she travels west, 252 in James.
Let's check in right now with Ken Stout, who has a special award.
Byron Neiman is this week's recipient of the Lucas Oil Best Appearing Award. He's done a great job with this beautiful blue modified four-wheel drive truck. And keep in mind, this isn't fiberglass. These things are all steel. Of course, the weight, not a big factor here. If anything, they need a little bit more weight to bury these tires and get a good grip. I personally like the name of this truck, and it no doubt is hitting close to home. It's called Grounds for Divorce, and as you can see, his lovely wife has finally found just one of the many invoices of what it costs to build one of these bad boys.
All right, Ken. We'll see the grounds for divorce right now. It looks like one bank is running just a little bit lean right there.
Definitely the case. Tom Timoleon does the engine work on this truck, but he's doing a lot of experimental things, so let's see if the experimentation comes out the way it should tonight, and it's not going to. He's lugging down, and it's going to come up way short.
Oh, boy, yeah. As that weight box shifted up on that hitch right there, you could just hear the truck pull down. Here comes a Chevrolet Jim Moots from Lynchburg, Ohio. He calls it the Buckeye Shaker.
Beautiful orange paint scheme on this truck. You can see the little blue insignia on that motor. Tom Timoleon, the spellbound, he's the engine builder on this truck as well.
All right,
276.16 coming up short yet again. Charlie Dutton is still holding onto the lead. He said it wouldn't hold, but it's holding pretty good right now, Ted.
Well, here's a guy that could do it, a former world champ, Galen Young, in the Renegade.
Galen is a guy you better keep your eye on. He's number 3 in points and could very well wind up winning the points title at the end of the year. He's done a lot of work on this truck, had a few bugs at the beginning of the year from making his switch from Chevrolet to Dodge. Coming up short right now, but currently number 3 in the class. Good run for Galen Young.
He nearly did it from Dodge. We'll move over to another Ford. This is the Foolish Farmer, Mike Mankey.
Well, you've heard me mention the Badger State Pullers. What they are is a member association. Do a lot of events in Illinois, Iowa, and of course Wisconsin. This is one of their top 4-wheel drive pullers here at the Grand American Series tonight. 286.02. Getting right in there with the best of them, Ted.
Oh, just over a foot short. We'll have more when we return to Henry. Well, folks, there's a full moon out tonight in Henry, Illinois, as we continue our Speed Vision coverage of the Lucas Oil Illinois Classic, a part of the Jasper Engines and Transmission ATPA Pulling Series. Here's one of the toughest gals in the business, Donna Webb out of Oklahoma, a former world champion, drives a Ford, sticks with the Ford. Her husband does the tuning and the wrenching. This lady can drive.
Definitely can. They've had trouble since Fort Wayne, Indiana, and the troubles have not been cleared up, Ted. Coming up way short for the Webb team.
Well, let's stay with Ford with Mr. Corruptor right here, John Ohorn.
That's a really stock-looking paint scheme, but it's a good-looking truck. It's really clean. Another one of those tough TPM trucks. Let's see what Mr. Corruptor can do. Can he run with the big boys? Going to come up about 10 feet short, 277.28.
A reminder, the number to beat right here as we watch the Mad Dog of Aaron Mobley lining up is 287.64.
Aaron Mobley yet to win an event this year. This could be the one. A lot of guys are coming out really easy and then giving the throttle a little bit later on. Aaron tries that. Still going to come up short. I have to admit, Charlie Dutton is really starting to look really good now, Ted.
All right, here comes a very different truck. This is John Strike. He's out of Indiana. You would think he was out of Louisiana because he has named his truck the Blue Bayou.
I think it's got more to do with the paint scheme than it does his Hoosier homeland. John Stick still going to come up short. See, the tires just stopped turning. I think the track just overloaded him right there at the end.
Oh, yeah, and he was within 2 feet, too. That's really a shame. Boy, here's one of the new aerodynamic-looking Ford bodies. Debbie Sebastian has this one.
Debbie coming out real easy. Now she's nailed it. She's going a little bit more on the right-hand side of the track. Maybe that's what it's going to take over the lead. She, too, will come up short. Chevrolets are looking good at this point.
We'll take a pause from the action. Earlier today, Ken Stout presented another special award.
Don Grant from Greenwood, Indiana, will win this week's Jasper's Engines and Transmissions Best Engineered Award. I want to show you some unique features on this particular four-wheel drive truck. How Don and company have actually created this truck, built the truck from the ground up. But take a look at the platform that they've worked on, which is very unique. It's all been, really a lot of work. A lot of time's gone into this. You can see this all been welded up. All the welds have been ground down so it's nice and smooth. Now the center section of this all comes off so that they can actually get to the drive line. In case something breaks, obviously, you want to be able to pop that off and get to it, have access to it right away. Now, something else that's also unique to this particular truck is the gauge cluster up here. This has all been designed so that the steering will come out of here off to the right-hand side, and you'll see a black tube going down on the passenger side of the truck that'll keep all the hydraulic hoses contained out of the way so that when they're making a pull, nothing wacky can go on and obviously lose some steering. A lot of thought process has gone into this particular truck, and it's working great for him. This little lever up here is for a 4-speed transmission. Now, they pre-select the gear. He'll pre-select one of the 4 speeds, and he'll pull in that particular gear. No shifting goes on. They've also decided to leave the throttle pedal here. Now, there's 2 ways to work the throttle. You can work it up here with a hand, or you can work it with a foot. Now, the reason they let the foot throttle on there is so that it makes it a little bit easier to start the truck because his hands have to stay up here on the switches when he's getting started. And then once he makes the pull, he'll run the truck with a hand throttle up here. So a lot of unique designs going on to make this particular truck just a little bit different, a little bit easier to pull, and hopefully win him a championship. And that's exactly why he's won the Best Engineer this week.
All right, Ken Stout, thank you very much. Let's find out if the Rags to Riches can do it right now. In order to win a championship, as you said, first, he's got to win this pull.
Don coming out real easy on the throttle. Now he's got his barrel wide open. Track taking him over to the right-hand side is going to cost him some distance. He, too, will come up short. Charlie Dutton still holds the lead, 287.64, the number they're shooting for.
Well, let's go back to the bow tie boys right here. The pack rat of Mike Clark.
To those RPMs, Ted. That's an incredible sound. Kind of sounds like a cross between a drag strip and a NASCAR track, but that's about 600 plus cubic inches of Chevrolet of Mike Clark. He will, too, unfortunately, come up short as we check out a Ford now, the Big Red of Mount Ohlhorn.
Big Red on a good straight pull right there. But I think he's also going to be just a bit shy right now. Yep, stalls it out. You can see the mud being thrown off the front wheels right there as he made a last-ditch effort. Now let's find out more about this track with Ken Stout.
This track is very similar to the track that we saw last week in Boonville, Indiana. A lot of grip. I mean, a lot of bite. It's what they call a horsepower track. There's a lot of moisture in it. It packs down real nice and tight. They've got to actually dig down, and I mean, there's just so much grip here that it'll literally pull the motors down. So they're going to come out here. They need all the horsepower they can muster up, put a little bit of weight up on the front. They want to transfer that weight back so that they can get a good, tough bite on this very tough, high horsepower track. And it takes a lot of time to get a track like this.
All right, Ken, thank you very much. You're right. It is a high horsepower track. These guys are getting nowhere near that 300-foot mark as we watch Dave Billinger right here with the heat wave pull. And that's because that track is really hooking up.
Oh, no doubt about it. Dave Billinger, one of the toughest trucks, I guess you could say, in the far west. Pulls a lot in Colorado and, of course, his home state of Kansas. Very tough competitor, but can't run out here with the Grand American guys tonight.
Well, here comes a guy that named his track after one of the famous drag racing funny cars, Raymond Beadle's Blue Max. We now got a Blue Max truck. Let's see if it runs as well as the old funny car did.
Well, Wally has been around many years. He's got a different cut of tires running. If you can look at the cleat, they're double-cut tires. Nobody else in the class is really running those. Let's go to Ken Stout.
When you come to a tractor pull, there's a couple of different ways that they can measure the distance that the sled has actually been pulled. One is with a hard tape. The other is what the ATPA is using, and it's state-of-the-art technology. They're using laser beams, and they go off of a prism right here on the front of the sled. That's the orange piece that you can see right up here up top. They'll shoot the laser beam out. It'll go back to a surveyor's camera, a surveyor's transit. The number will be posted. Immediately, they post that number up on a huge electronic scoreboard for the whole wide world to see.
Everybody's into scoreboards now. The ATPA keeping pace right there. Let's take a look as we continue on with our four-wheel drive competition. This is the Orange Crush entry of Ron Brummel.
Check out his driving. Front tires drivers are going everywhere, just grabbing a hold of the track, and he's got to really hold onto that steering wheel to keep it under control. Made a very good run, but he too will come up short.
Let's go once again to Ken Stout.
The way the sleds work is they have a huge weight box. It's called a weight transfer box. And, of course, as everybody knows, once it starts pulling the sled forward, the weight transfer box comes forward with it. Now, what does it do? It actually applies weight to a pan. This pan will go down onto the ground, and, of course, the farther the weight goes forward, the more the pan digs in, takes more weight off the drive wheels. Well, there's also a safety device on these sleds so that if something really goes wacky and they were to disconnect for some reason, it would actually slam the pan down on the ground, and it would also create one other factor. It actually locks up all 8 of these drive wheels, 4 on each side, and this thing will come to a screeching halt and stop whatever is hooked to it.
This ATPA coverage brought to you by Jasper Engines and Transmissions, the nation's leader in remanufactured engines and transmissions, and by Lucas Oil Products, #1 in the trucking industry. And by Valco of Cincinnati, whose products are available at local truck stops everywhere. We'll be back with more. Illinois, the crowd really starting to move it up and get into this now. And we have our final few pullers in the 4x4 category. Beginning with the spellbound, this be the man, Tom Promoyan, who builds a lot of the engines for these pullers.
Currently, Charlie Dutton still in the lead, 287.64. He would really like a chance to beat Charlie, not just for the possibility of winning this event, but he needs those Jasper Engines points for that big points payout at the end of the year, and he has done it, Ted.
A full pull, 300 feet. Let's take a look with the Lucas Oil replay at exactly how he did it. All 4 wheels turning dirt and throwing mud. That's the way it's done, folks, with a lot of power.
Got her out there, and I gassed her, and spellbound, laid back, went by the Valco sign, went to the Jasper Engine sign, and right out the end here, almost, or how close we get.
Well, you're 300.08. I mean, it was a full pull.
Great, good deal.
I mean, the battle point between yourself and Charlie Dutton, and Charlie was leading up till right now.
Yep, Charlie was ahead of me right there, and we was tied coming into the night. Boy, we're having fun.
These guys do enjoy this business. Now, you saw this guy's son a little bit earlier, Lim Freeday. This is Lim Freeday Sr. and the instigator. Let's see if the old man can beat the kid.
Well, I know he'd like to do that, but let's see for all the Ford fans out there if they can get a Ford into the pull-off against the Chevrolet of Tom Tomoyan, who has taken over the lead, and not going to happen. 283.36. Good run, but still going to come up short.
But we've got tougher guys standing by right now, like Brad Hunter and the Knight Rider, a very aggressive young man.
Bringing it out very, very easy. Look where he's got the sled set, Ted, right there in that left-hand line. He thinks that's what the best groove on the track is, but you see him fighting it. The track, the grooves in the track, pulling him left, pulling him right, and he comes up short.
Well, he tried just kind of sneaking it out, as you said, just feathered the throttle right there. Steve Clement, the Radical, has been doing this a long time. Let's see how he approaches it. It now takes a full pull or nothing.
Of course, this truck is a teammate to Tom Tomoyan Spellbound, and also to Galen Young's Renegade Dodge, all kind of on the same team, nicknamed the Versailles Mafia. The mob not going to do it tonight, or this member's not. Tomoyan still holding the lead.
And one final shot at it. One of my favorite trucks, lost in the 50s because it's about a 52 Chevrolet. Alan Sneed, you better watch him. You may not see him around next year, Paul.
That's right. He is retiring his tour around the wagons this year. Let's see if Tom Tomoyan's going to win this or not. Tomoyan wins it, 286.68. Great run for Steve.
Well, Tom, it's a pretty good night when you can put 13 feet on the rest of this tough field.
Yeah, we worked real hard this week. I want to thank my pit crew for really working hard, and Tom McConnell, Valco, Lucas, Jasper Engines, everybody for putting together such a great show here tonight, and we're real proud of what we could gain tonight.
Heck of a job, man. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tom Tomoyan, the new points leader.
And he could end up winning the points. We'll look at those in a minute. Right here is the order in which they finished this evening in the 4x4 category, 1 through 5 and 6 through 10. And notice Lim Freeday, the old man, did beat the son, number 8 and number 10, respectively. Now, one final award remaining. We have just enough time to get it in. The Jacobs Electronics Hot Pull. That'll have to go to
Tom Tomolian and Spellbound just dominated, just blew away the competition here in the modified four-wheel drive category. Look at that truck arch down. Front wheels throwing the dirt. Not only does Tomolian win the class, he wins the Jacobs Electronics hot pull of the day.
And because he won that, he took the points lead, Tom.
Look at it, only 2 points separate him and Child's Play. It's going to be very tough. Donna Webb really behind this year, hoping to gain some momentum.
Coming up next week, right here on Speed Vision, Saturday at noon, the Valco Nationals from Evansville, Indiana. Don't miss it. It's going to be hot, 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 fiery action. That'll be a wrap from Henry, Illinois. I'm Ted Jones for Ken Stout and Tom McConnell. Thanks for watching. So long, everyone. For more information, log on to speedvision.com.